How's it going, Time Lapse Studio fans? This is Luke, your host, as always. So, last week I did a movie review, which of course was The Legends from 2015. And this week I am doing a series review, weirdly enough, because I feel like gaming and reactions, that's going to get too much twisted into the schedule. And they just honestly take a lot to make. And just, yeah. So, recently I went back and rewatched season 1 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and I'll be honest, guys, I went to the intro expecting it to be a bit rough, and it's been a year, guys. One whole year. Literally, the 13th of April 2025 was literally the last time I watched it. How? I don't know. Just I thought, I literally loaded up my Facebook this morning and saw on my memory, see if I can speak today would be nice. It's been one whole year since you watched Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 1. I thought, fuck you know. But anyway, enough of that. But going back on that actually gave me a lot more insight on it and much more credit for all the stuff that you do in it. So, if you don't know Star Wars The Clone Wars, it takes place between the Attack of the Clones and the Revenge of the Sith. So, if there's no Star Wars fans on this channel, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? And second of all, Attack of the Clones Episode 2, Revenge of the Sith Episode 3. Massive gap between those two movies. And what this series is trying to achieve is to take the war that is kind of mentioned in the films and actually show what it's like. One thing that really stood out straight away is how much. What? One thing that really stood out to me is how big everything actually feels. How much clones there actually are. The deaths, the battles, just everything in general. In the films, the clone I can't speak today. In the films, the Clone Wars actually. Just breathe. Don't destroy anything. In the films, the Clone Wars are kind of just a background noise. But here you're seeing different planets, different minch. Stop doing that. Fuck's sake. In the films, during the Clone Wars, you actually see much more than you see in the movies. Here you're actually seeing different planets, different missions, and much more different type of battles. Sorry, I have to go northern. Fuck, I'm still northern. Why am I always going northern for? I'll try and get out of it. So, probably the biggest improvement in the. I can't speak. Sorry about this, guys. Probably the biggest improvement from the films is the clones themselves. In the movies, they're just soldiers, that's it. It's pretty much go do this, yes sir, go do that, yes sir, we'll do. It's pretty much stuff like that. But in this, they actually start to feel like individuals. Even though they all look the same, they've got different personalities, different roles, different ways of thinking. They actually feel like characters and not just background noises. And then you got Anakin Skywalker, who honestly feels a lot better here than in the films. He's more confident, more like a leader. I actually believe he's a Jedi Knight in war. No, not like the Master, if you've seen the universal. No, not like the Master, if you've seen the Universal Decay by TARDIS Productions. I don't know how to keep mentioning them, but I do. But yeah, there you go. And there's Ahsoka Tano, aka Snips. And yeah, at the start, she's a bit annoying, she's a bit naff. And I'm not going to lie, but you can tell they're setting her up for something bigger. Well, I can't speak today. If I don't have my tongue, God help us. If I don't have my tongue, God help us all. But you can already tell through the first series, she's learning, she's making mistakes, and she's growing. But at the same time, season 1 definitely has issues. It's a bit inconsistent, guys. Like, you have one episode that feels really strong, and then the next episode feels a bit naff, empty, like a gap filler. You know when you're watching like an anime or something, there's a massive battle happening, then halfway through the battle he cuts to some random gap filler, like the anime just thought, okay, a massive battle, our budget's running a bit low, let's do a gap filler. No, go straight back to the fucking battle. God, my voice went high then. But anyway, enough of that. And it also feels like the show is also trying to figure itself out. It doesn't also. I can't speak. It doesn't fully know whether it wants to be more serious or more episodic and lighter. Yeah, I got that in a situation when I was doing Multiverse of Minds. And if you don't know, the Multiverse of Minds, go to right at the bottom of Timelight Studios, and that's literally the first thing you'll see. Yeah, I think it's literally the first thing you see. A lot of the episodes feel quite self-contained as well. So instead of one big continuous story, sorry about that. So instead of one big continuous story, it's more like small missions, small arcs, different parts of war, and yeah, there's better ways showing how the clones work, how the Jedi Order works, just yeah, stuff like that. But when it does not work, no, sorry, but when it does work, you can really see what the show is going to become later on. There are moments where you can actually feel like proper Star Wars, good action, solid character moments, and the scene scales. Scene scales? Fucking hell. Sense of scales. One thing Ronald Weasley.
Bed's empty, no note, car gone.
One thing about season 1, there we go, if I can actually fucking speak today, that it does not quite feel. One thing season 1 actually does quite well is showing different sides of the war throughout certain battles. For example, you got the battle of Christopher. You know, God voice crack. For anyone who's seen the Clone Wars, you know the battle when Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi are holding off separatist forces, and that's actually where they're introduced to Ahsoka Tano. That one, I can't say the name from the top of my head. And also there's the Battle of Ryloth. I think that's how you say it, Ryloth, which is a much bigger arc, showing the Republic trying to free the planet from the occupation. Yeah, that's the right thing. Occupation. That one. What? Sorry, guys. I really can't fucking speak today. And there's the Battle of Ryloth, which is a much bigger arc by itself, showing the Republic trying to free the planet from occupation. That one really focuses on the strategy and the cost of war. There we go. So I'm just reading from. You can't see it on here, but I've got a few notes on my screen because my memory is like a goldfish. Yeah. Apologies for that. And there's also the Battle of Teth, which is about rescuing Jabba's son. And it's the first mission where Anakin and Ahsoka really have to work together. Then there's also the Battle of Rugasa. I think that's how you say it, Rugasa, where the Jedi are trying to protect the key political alliance, and how it shows the war isn't just about fighting, but also about diplomacy. There we go. Fucking hell, I really can't speak today. I said that about 50 times today. And all this, and wrapped inside all of this, the clones play a huge role. Literally, it's called the Clone Wars for a reason. Characters like Captain Rex and Commander Cody aren't just background soldiers. Oh no. They lead leading troops, making decisions, and sometimes even questioning orders from, of course, the Jedi. It's moments like that which start to allow the show. What? It's moments like that which start to show that the clones aren't just an army, they're individuals, and that they become really important later on. So, of course, we got the Jedi Order, who are leading the Republic forces. You'll see characters like Obi-Wan and... Of course, you see characters like Anakin Skywalker and General Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, both of them generals, technically. Which is interesting because they're both supposed to be peacekeepers, but now they're leading a war. And it's actually said a fair bit during Star Wars when the Jedi Order was actually around. They actually keep saying, we are not generals, we are not warriors, we are peacekeepers. Then catch the Clone Wars and the fact that they are literally fighting a war. So Count Dooku, Palpatine, and so many more don't get what they want. So basically, space Nazis. So yeah. Overall, season 1 isn't perfect. It isn't a chef's kiss. It's not the Holy Grail. It's a bit uneven, if you know what I mean. And you can tell me if it's still finding its footing. Well, still finding its footing. It's found its footing because there's 6 fucking seasons of it. I think 6 or 8, either one. It's definitely better than I remember. And it lays at the groundwork of everything that comes after. So guys, yeah, that's been it. That's my thoughts on Clone Wars Season 1. And that's how I feel about it. So let me know if you want me to... Fuck, what's the words? Let me know if you want me to review anything else, series, scripts, anything like that. Not as a professional filmmaker, because I'm far from that. Just as a casual media guy trying to live his life in this universe. So yeah, enough of that chin-bagging. This has been Luke, your host of Timeout Studios, signing off for this week. See you next week, guys. I can't speak today, fucking honestly. Goodbye.